Hello and welcome. This is Rick Baxter again. I'd like to congratulate you on taking your first step in learning more about Microsoft Dynamics NAV. Now, as I promised on the previous page, I would provide three kind of getting started learning segments for you on some of the core parts of the system. The first video is going to be today, right now. We're going to cover inventory and a little bit on purchasing. So I want you to see the relationship between inventory and purchasing and how those two tie together. And then on the second day, you'll get an email from me with a link that expands on that and talks about requisition worksheet, which kind of sits in between the inventory system and the purchasing system and helps automate that process. And then the third movie segment, I'm going to cover a little bit of introduction on the report writer. I think it's real important that you learn a little bit about how to write some basic reports and get started with the reporting capabilities. So that's the plan. So over the next 3 days, you're going to get three little snippets of information about NAV. So today, pretty straightforward. I'm going to give you a little review of inventory and purchasing and how those two kind of interact. So I'm going to start right here on the screen. Let's zoom in and I'm going to go into inventory. So here's our inventory option. Just follow along with me. And two, as I should say this, kind of just follow and watch, sit back and relax. And then what I want you to do after this segment finishes is go try it on your machine. Try and do the exact same. You can even use the same part numbers as I use here, just to kind of get yourself oriented with the inventory and purchasing. And I want to do this with a brand new inventory item. So I want to show you how to add a new item. And if I wasn't here and didn't give you any hints whatsoever, see if you can look at the screen and come up with some idea of how you would add a new inventory item. Just look around on the screen and see if there's anything that maybe sticks out at you that might be a way to add a new inventory item into the, well, here's a way. We probably can press new. So I'm just going to click that, and guess what? Open us on the screen is a new, what we call an item card. An item card is where we actually store each of the inventory part numbers. And I'm going to give this part number 1005, and we're going to call this item a blue binder. So we're going to enter, we're going to just go ahead right here and enter blue binder. Now, I don't know if you sell blue binders or if you make blue binders or if you use blue binders in your business. It doesn't really matter. It's just, and I didn't put blinder, B-L-I-N-D-E-R. There we go. Got to spell it right. So there's a blue blinder. Can't even hardly say the words. Inventory item is each, and I do want to put in a little cost information as well on this item. So I'm going to click on the invoicing tab here, open that up, and we'll say the cost on this item is $6.32. So I'm just going to enter the cost, and I probably would like to put in the last direct cost, which is also $6.32. Last time I bought it, and this gets updated, by the way, as you purchase more of those items. And we're going to sell this for $9.97. So I'm going to put in a unit price. Now there's a whole bunch of price calculations and ways to do calculations on pricing. I'm not going to cover that in this kind of introductory session. I think I'm going to do a couple more things though while I'm right here in inventory. And then let's talk about replenishment. In other words, where do I buy this item from? And I'm going to set this up as a purchase item, okay, because I want to show you purchase orders. So this is an item that we purchase and then probably sell, or maybe we use this in our production process. But I'm going to purchase it, and I'm going to put in the default vendor who I normally buy this from. I can do a lookup. Just click the down arrow, and that gives me a list of all the people that I might buy this from. I'm going to type in 30, and as I start to type, it finds all the vendors that have a number starting with 30. There's only one in this case, which is Coolwood Technologies, so I'll just enter that. You could even put in what the vendor's part number is if it's something different, or leave that blank, doesn't really matter. And that's about all I really need to put in. I just wanted to establish the vendor and the part. Now, one other thing I guess I should show you back here is, notice to the right side is the supply and demand information. And even when I close the card, and let's refresh the list, that should give us our new item. So here is the blue binder. That was an F5, by the way, just like in your Outlook. You press F5 and you kind of refresh the screen. So here's the blue blinder, and it's $9.97 is the price on that item, and its cost is $6.32. Notice the supply and demand is all at 0, and it would have to be, because we haven't bought it, we haven't purchased it, sorry, we haven't used it, we haven't produced it, we haven't done anything other than just adding it into the system. That's all I want to do at this stage, because I want to show you the relationship with these fields and your purchasing. So let's go back to the Roll Center. Here is our purchasing area, and I can just start right here and add a new purchase order. Now, I could do a purchase quote or purchase invoice, but I'm just going to do a simple purchase order. So I'm going to say new purchase order, and I typically let the system assign the next number. So I'm going to press enter. And so it's going to go out in there and say, what's the next up number for this purchase order? And we're going to buy from vendor 30,000, which is the one we picked. Whoops, too many zeros. And it does tell me if I kind of mistype something, it's going to give me a little warning there. So there's the vendor, and then the line items, and I'm just going to make this real simple for us today. We're going to enter a line type of item. Okay, not GL, not fixed asset, not charge items. Those are all covered on the training CD. But for right now, it's just an item. And let's put in our part number, 1005. And here comes the description. So it puts in the description for us. It's a little slower with the recorder going. There's our blue blinder. And our quantity, let's buy 150 of those. So we'll just make up some quantity. And notice the cost comes in of $6.32. And then, of course, it's going to extend that for $948 for those 150. Okay, now, I'm not going to change anything else. I've just entered it. I'm not going to print it. I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to update it. I'm just going to leave. Okay, so I'm going to hit and that's off your screen just a little bit. So let's see if I can move this up a little bit here for you, because I want you to see as this goes. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to hit OK and leave that purchase order. So I put a new purchase order in the system. There's no save or anything. It's saving as it goes. And the relationship that I want you to see is, now when I go back to inventory and I go to the blue blinder, I want you to notice right here on the supply and demand, there's 150. It puts that in all automatically. There is no updating, no processing. It's reading from the item side over to purchase orders and constantly kind of looking to see what's available or what's on purchase orders, or even if you'd received in a partial, that might go down and my quantity on hand would have gone up. Now in the training CD, I cover how to actually do the receiving process. I'm not going to cover that here. That's on the training CD, but I wanted you to see the relationship between inventory items and purchasing, and how when you put in that purchase order instantly without doing anything, that system is updated. So that's your first little look and feel. Now tomorrow what we're going to cover is how in between those two I can put a requisition worksheet and then add some parameters, some supply and demand parameters, and some minimums and maximums and reorder points and those kind of things that will help automate the process, because I just went in and just manually added a purchase order. I didn't really You know, it wasn't because there was some demand out there. I just added it. We really want to do buying for some reason. And I'm going to show you that in your learning segment tomorrow. So thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow.